In the heart of a lush bamboo forest, under the shade of emerald green leaves, lived a little red panda named Penny. Penny was sweet and fluffy, with a tail as bushy as a duster and eyes as bright as shiny buttons. She loved sunbathing on warm rocks and nibbling on fresh bamboo shoots. But sometimes, a big, gray cloud of worry would drift into her mind. Her heart would start to beat like a tiny drum, thump, 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 and her paws would feel all teeny. Penny had anxiety, and it felt like a heavy backpack she couldn't take off. One sunny afternoon, as Penny was trying to enjoy her favorite bamboo snack, the worry cloud returned. It whispered silly things in her ear, like, what if you fall from this branch? And what if all the bamboo disappears? Penny's happy afternoon turned gray. She sighed, her fluffy tail drooping. Just then, a wise old owl named Professor Hoot landed softly on a branch beside her. He adjusted his spectacles and looked at Penny with kind, knowing eyes. "Penny, my dear," he hooted gently, "that worry cloud seems extra heavy today." Penny nodded, her little chin wobbling. "It is, Professor Hoot. It makes everything feel scary, even when it's not." Professor Hoot puffed out his chest. "I know of a place that can help. It's a land made entirely of sweets, and in it lives a magical unicorn named They say she can help anyone find their inner sunshine." Penny's ears perked up. A unicorn, a land of sweets. It sounded like a dream. But it sounds so far away," she stammered. "What if I get lost?" Professor Hoot gave her a reassuring smile. "Courage, little one, is not the absence of fear, but taking the first step even when you are afraid." He handed her a small hand-drawn map. "Follow the Gumdrop River, cross the chocolate wafer bridge, and you will find the land of sweet. Sparkle Hoof will be waiting." With a newfound flicker of hope, Penny took a deep breath. She packed a small bag with a single, perfect bamboo shoot, thanked Professor Hoot, and set off on her adventure. The journey was not easy. The Gumdrop River gurgled with fizzy soda, and Penny had to hop carefully across colorful, bouncy. The worry cloud followed her, whispering down, "You're too small for this big adventure," it hissed. Penny's heart started its drumming again, but then she remembered Professor Hoot's words. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and imagined the warm sun on her fur. "I can do this," she whispered to herself. She took one bouncy step, then another, until she was safely on the other side. Next came the chocolate wafer bridge. It stretched over a wide canyon filled with creamy caramel. The bridge looked fragile, and the worry cloud grew darker. "It will surely crumble," it boomed. Penny's paws felt wobbly. She looked down at the swirling caramel and felt dizzy. But then she noticed something. Little candy ants were marching confidently across the bridge, carrying tiny crumbs of sugar. If they could do it, so could she. She took another deep breath, this time a little slower, and focused on putting one paw in front of the other, just like the ants. Crunch, crunch. She made it across. Finally, Penny saw it. A land shimmering under a pink sugar sky. The air smelled of gingerbread and cotton candy. Lollipop trees dotted the landscape, and frosting flowers bloomed in neat little rows. It was the land of sweets. Penny's heart fluttered, but this time with excitement, not fear. In the center of a meadow made of green sprinkles, she saw a magnificent creature. Its coat was the color of vanilla ice cream. Its mane and tail shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, and a single, spiraled horn glowed on its forehead. It was Sparklehoof, the magical unicorn. Sparklehoof trotted over to Penny, her hooves making a gentle, tinkling sound. "Welcome, little one," she said, her voice as warm and comforting as hot cocoa. "I've been expecting you." Penny looked up, feeling very small. "You, Ave?" she squeaked. "Yes," Sparklehoof replied, nuzzling Penny's head gently. "I can see your worry cloud. It followed you all the way here." Penny's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know how to make it go away," she confessed. Sparklehoof smiled. "You don't make it go away, dear Penny. You learn to be the sunshine that shines through it." She led Penny to a quiet spot by a lemonade spring. "Your worry cloud is just a part of you, like your fluffy tail. It's trying to protect you, but sometimes it gets a little too loud. The secret is to listen to your breath." Sparklehoof instructed Penny to sit comfortably. "Close your eyes," she said softly. "Now, breathe in slowly, and imagine you are sniffing a beautiful frosting flower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Penny breathed in, smelling imaginary roses. "Now, hold that sweet breath," Sparklehoof continued, "and breathe out slowly, like you're blowing out a birthday candle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Penny breathed out, a long, slow whoosh. They did this again and again. With each breath, Penny felt the drumming in her chest slow down. The tingly feeling in her paws faded, so felt calm. She felt peaceful. The big gray worry cloud hadn't vanished, but it seemed smaller, lighter, and much farther away. "You see," Sparklehoof said, "your breath is your magic wand. Whenever the worry cloud gets too big, you can use your breath to make space for the sunshine." She then taught Penny another trick. "This is called the 5 senses game," she explained. "When you feel worried, stop and find 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste." Penny looked around. "I see a lollipop tree, a gingerbread house, your rainbow mane, the pink sky, and a candy butterfly," she said, her voice growing stronger. "I can feel the soft sprinkled grass, the breeze on my fur, my own heartbeat, and the warmth from your glow. I can hear the lemonade spring bubbling, a candy bird singing, and your gentle voice. I can smell the cotton candy clouds and the gingerbread walls. And I can taste, well, I can taste the bamboo I brought." She took a small bite, and it tasted better than ever. The worry cloud had shrunk to the size of a tiny cotton bowl. Penny spent the rest of the day with Spark, practicing her breathing and playing the 5 senses game. She learned that it was okay to feel worried sometimes, but she now had the tools to help herself feel better. As the sun, a giant lemon drop, began to set, it was time for Penny to go home. "Thank you, Sparklehoof," Penny said, giving the unicorn a big hug. "I'll never forget what you taught me." Sparklehoof nuzzled her one last time. "Remember, Penny, the sunshine is always inside you. You just have to let it shine." The journey home felt different. When Penny crossed the chocolate wafer bridge, she didn't feel wobbly. She looked at the caramel below and thought it looked delicious. When she hopped across the gumdrop river, she giggled as the gumdrops bounced beneath her paws. The little worry cloud was still there, trailing behind her like a small pet, but it didn't feel heavy or scary anymore. It was just ... there. When Penny arrived back in her bamboo forest, Professor Hoot was waiting. "Ah, Penny, you're back. You seem different. Your eyes are brighter, and your tail is extra bushy." Penny smiled. A big, genuine smile that reached her eyes. "I met Sparklehoof," she said. "She taught me that I have my own sunshine inside, and I learned how to use my breath and my senses to find it." From that day on, whenever Penny felt the worry cloud start to grow, she would stop. She would breathe in like she was smelling a flower and breathe out like she was blowing out a candle. She would look for 5 things, feel for things, and listen for 3. And every time, she would find her inner sunshine shining brightly through the clouds. Thanks for watching our story today. If you ever feel like Penny, remember that taking a few slow, deep breaths can make a big difference. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing adventures. See you next time. Deep within the neural sanctuary, the silence of the chocolate treehouse began to expand, filling this space with a heavy, sweet stillness that felt like a thick, velvet blanket. Penny's breathing had now moved past the stage of effort. It had become a somatic rhythm, a deep and effortless wave that moved through her entire body. Belle stepped closer, the light from her golden horns softening from amber to a deep, resonant violet. The final stage of the kinetic blueprint is not about letting go, Belle whispered. It is about neural integration. It is about realizing that you are the mountain, and the worries are merely the wind passing over your peaks. Penny felt the nougat bench beneath her begin to shift. It wasn't just a seat anymore. It felt as though it was becoming part of her. She could no longer tell where her fur ended and the warmth of the dreaming chocolate began. This was the residual kindness in its purest forma total. Dissolution of the self into the restorative architecture of the land of sweets. Look at the sky through the treehouse window, Penny, Belle instructed. Outside, the cotton candy clouds were no longer moving. They had reached a state of atmospheric stasis. The flying saucers that had been darting so frantically earlier were now hovering in perfect, silent alignment, their neon lights pulsing slowly like a distant heartbeat. The entire world had synchronized with Penny's peace. Tomorrow morning, Belle's voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. You will wake up in your own den, but you will carry this sovereign key with you. When the teacher speaks, you will hear the music in the lesson. When the other pandas run, you will feel the strength in your own steady pace. You have deconstructed the fear, and in its place, you have built a sanctuary of logic. Penny's mind gave one last, soft flicker memory of the geography test, but instead of a jagged marble, she saw it now as a tiny, harmless grain of sugar dissolving instantly in the warm milk of her subconscious. The neural leak was completely sealed. With one final, deep exhale, Penny let the last thread of the land of sweets fade into the background. She didn't fall into sleep. She drifted into it, like a leaf settling onto the surface of a perfectly still lake. The protocol was finished. The restoration was absolute. As the final violet pulse from Belle's horn faded, Penny's world turned into a soft, dreamless horizon. The kinetic blueprint had done its work, replacing the jagged edges of anxiety with a smooth, unwavering peace. The red panda was no longer a small creature lost in a big world. She was the architect of her own calm, tucked safely away in a den that now felt like a fortress of quiet. The land of sweets, with its chocolate trees and marshmallow valleys, didn't vanish, it simply folded itself into the back of her mind. A secret sanctuary she could revisit whenever the world became too loud. Every breath she took was now a rhythmic promise that Monday was not a hurdle, but a new opportunity to move with grace. Deep in the mountain forest, the wind died down and the moon took its place as the silent guardian of the peaks. Penny, the king and queen, and even the tiny ants in the garden were now united in a single, systematic state of rest. The protocol was complete. The restoration was absolute. If you have found your way to the center of your own sanctuary tonight, please like this video and subscribe to Natural Dose. Your presence in our community of shadow scholars is what makes these deep immersion protocols possible. The rainbow has faded, the stars are watching, and the rest you deserve is finally here. Sweet dreams. Good night. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your night. May you find deep peace and restful sleep. Wishing you the sweetest dreams. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.